Hey guys, my name is Greg Johnson. I'm an assistant principal here at Darlington High School, and today I want to ask you a few questions. My first question is, have you ever been frustrated when you ask a student to give their parents something, like hand deliver a letter or something like that, and it doesn't go through? Have you ever been aggravated when a parent calls you and says, hey, I haven't heard anything about this meeting that you guys are talking about? And I say, really, that's super interesting because we sent home a peach jar and a School Connects, and we emailed you about it and we called you about it, and we've been advertising it on the walls here in the schools for like 19 weeks, but you hadn't heard anything about it. Cool, that's our bet. I'm guessing that you've had that same struggle. My third question, have you ever tried to suspend a kid or call a parent and you want to reach out to them, but the number in Power School is like to Burger King? That kind of thing used to happen to us. And so then we started talking about scenarios where have you ever had conversations with your kids at dinner and you say, how was your day today? And they say, all right. Or you say, hey, tell me what you learned in physical education today, or what did you learn in English class? What are you guys reading? And they say, and they start texting. Like I said, we used to get that a lot. So what would you say if I told you there were tools at your disposal that would help you reach more than 70% of the adult population in the United States? You'd be interested, right? What if I told you that those same tools are adding 8 users per second? Per second, every day across the world. You'd at least be somewhat interested. That's fair. So now that I have your attention, let's take a few minutes and talk about how Darlington High School uses social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter to reach out to parents and to reach out to students and to spread the good news about what's going on here on Spring Street, in our schools, on our fields, and our courts, all that kind of stuff. According to Facebook, Darlington High's Facebook page averages about 10,000 views per week. Maybe you didn't hear me, so I'll say that again. That's 10,000 views per week. While those numbers may be a bit skewed by things like Autobots in other countries and millennials checking their phones on the hour every hour, let's pretend it's only half true. How many high schools can say they're reaching between 5,000 and 10,000 stakeholders every week? The administrative team at Darlington uses Facebook to spread news, announcements, and provide details about day-to-day operations in the high school. In the past year, our videos have received more than 50,000 likes. That means that we have provided visual proof and insight to more than 50,000 viewers of how we're teaching collaboration in math class, fitnessgram testing in physical education, concerts in music appreciation, and conversation skills in foreign language. Those people have also seen how our athletes and band members have traveled to elementary schools to help provide pep rallies to boost morale in the community, and even how our JV volleyball team is showing improvement. So the benefits here are obvious, but let's discuss a few of them anyway. Number 1, parents get excited about what they see, giving them a sense of pride in the school, and it leads them to ask better questions of their children at the dinner table. Number 2, as you're all aware, students get a huge kick out of seeing themselves on the internet. Their rise to local celebrity status makes them take more pride in their work. Think of it as an updated version of putting their artwork on the refrigerator, except the world is now the refrigerator and everyone can see it. Number 3, alumni interest. A sense of pride in the community amongst alumni and other stakeholders increases too. This is a great way to start water cooler conversations amongst adults. Proud alumni are alumni that are willing to donate money to our school. And lastly, other schools see this and begin having internal conversations about what they can do to improve their own school. Think of this as an informal professional development. Even if we can plant one idea in one other person's head, that's a crazy thought. A tool that barely existed 10 years ago is now one of the leading sources of information in the world. So all those benefits are great. And if we use just those benefits, then using social media would be worth it. But the biggest benefit that we gain from the use of social media is we get to change the perception of our community and our state. Take a second and talk about, maybe amongst yourselves quickly, what do you know about Darlington? You know anything about Darlington High School? I'll give you a second. I'm guessing the only thing you came up with was, is that where the racetrack is? Yes, that's where the racetrack is. We have a racetrack. We hear it all the time. What you don't know probably is we have the best graduation rate in the state of South Carolina, with almost 95% of our kids graduating on time. You might also not know that we had 12 students graduate from high school and earn an associate's degree at the same time. That's a big deal. That's something not everybody knows about in Darlington. So we're using Facebook to change conversations and change perceptions because, as we know, perception's reality. I can also prove to you that 700 people have seen and liked the fact that our math teachers this year painted their desk with chalkboard paint, and it helped us eliminate a lot of paper. It helped us. It helped with teachers walking around and being vigilant about, hey, I can see you're struggling here. Let me help you. Other teachers see that kind of stuff too and say, that's a great idea. I want to do that in my classroom. Sure, you can, absolutely. You would have also seen if you looked at our Facebook, and I can prove to you that 1,700 people have seen that one of our 2 published authors in our school has sold more than 10,000 copies of a book that he wrote this year. That's neat stuff. That's stuff that parents see and stakeholders see and say, wow, they got it going on in that place. One of the coolest things that we did was, instead of sending home behavior contracts, the administrators made a video for the rules. And that video has been viewed more than 5,000 times on Facebook alone. So the conversations change when parents come in and say, I didn't know that was a rule too. Is that what Miss Lenora talked about in her Law and Order parody video? Well, yeah, it was. And they say, that was pretty cool. It was cool, right? But that changes conversation. So we're using that social media to change perception, and it's really made a big improvement. Take a break for a second and jot some notes down. The idea of me being the only person talking here is ridiculous, and so I want you to write down any questions or comments or concerns that you might have on a Post-it note. Post those up, and we'll talk about them individually or as a group, whatever you guys need. If you don't know anything about Twitter, it's a lot like Facebook. The biggest difference being you only have 140 characters to say what you're talking about. And so instead of Facebook, where you can post something this long, Twitter's kind of like this long. If you do know about Twitter and you use Twitter, let me recommend an app called the TweetDeck. The TweetDeck is a good space where you can run multiple accounts for Twitter, as well as organize into very neat categories what you want. Look that up. It's called TweetDeck. If you are even remotely interested in Twitter, you need to know about hashtags. No, not hash browns, hashtags. Hashtags are a way to sort information into very neat categories. For example, if I was watching the Super Bowl from my living room here in Darlington, I could tweet something like, man, this is a great game, hashtag Super Bowl 51, and that's all one word. Someone watching in California could tweet something else about the Super Bowl that has nothing to do with what I'm saying, but hashtag that. Hashtag Super Bowl 51. If I were to click on that hashtag, I can see what everybody is saying about that particular event. For educational purposes, I would search something like hashtag PBL or hashtag project-based learning, and by doing that, I'm exposed to a lot of different opinions, going back to that professional development conversation we had a few seconds ago. I would also like to add that here in Darlington we have several Twitter accounts. All of our teams have a Twitter, as well as most of our clubs. Twitter is a popular way for students to communicate with one another, so we try taking advantage of that. I'd also like to take a second to explain that we've also dabbled in other forms of social media. For example, we tried Instagram, but our students refused to take part in it because they felt like that was theirs, and they felt like by following them on Instagram we were kind of invading their privacy, which is what it is. We did not want to continue to put effort forth when they would ignore it, essentially. We have had some success with Snapchat, attaining some geo filters. That kind of gave kids a sense of, hey, this is really cool. Our administration is trying to reach us on their level. So we did get some positive feedback about it, but I wouldn't say it had any educational purpose other than to please the kids. If you don't know what a geo filter is, I don't want to explain it to anybody over the age of 30 because they'll just look at me like this. Wow. So if you want to know about it, I'd be glad to tell you in person. So it looks like my time is up. I want to thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. If you have any concerns or questions or comments, please feel free to come up to me and talk to me, or contact me. My information I'm going to post right here. Have a good day.